through the city. She smart, thick and pretty. Good and sedity. Her mama fucking with me. We the baddest in the city. I'm grimy and I'm gritty, but when I'm with you, I'm shining like a penny. I feel brand new. I hope you do too. Took her to Benihana. She turned head like she Madonna. She can't sing, it's her persona. Man, everybody wanna. Your girl gave my girl a number. Wanna have a party like slumber. If she need wood, I'm a lumber. If she got a leak, I'm a plumber. We hotter than the summer. We got money if you talking numbers. She wearing a dress, and I'm looking under like I sitting right. That shit is dumb dumb. Sit it on my face until you come. Girl, you got that sauce. Damn, yeah. You say that pussy good, and I want some. Don't tease me. Don't tease me. Don't tease me. Please me. Every time I go inside, angels are all I see. I can't get out of your vibe. Loving you is all I need. I can eat this pussy for days. I can eat this pussy for weeks. I love it when you walk away, 'cause all I seem to see.
Peace. What's up, everybody? It's the Hood Mystic Grand Rising. Good to be back here in the mornings to really get with my people that's starting early in the day, really trying to get this information, really trying to take this information, apply this information throughout their day. And so it is real good to be up this morning and to have a message, you know what I'm saying, or to have something to say, to give something that nobody else is talking about, or just have a new conversation and things of that nature, and to be consistently, you know, putting that forward. It's truly a blessing, and I'm most grateful for everybody joining me today. I was thinking as I was laying asleep before my meditation, you know, how grateful I am for everything. And, you know, I just want to share that message, you know, the message of gratitude in spite of all things. You know, it's a powerful frequency, because, you know, when I think of the energy of gratitude, you don't have to be in a fortunate position. You don't have to, you know, have a lot of good things around you to be grateful. Dealing with the ancestors, or dealing with the gods, or dealing with the celestials, you know, grateful for the understanding and grateful for what's to come is a powerful energy and a powerful frequency that I invite any and everybody to deal with. Earlier this week we did a video called Conflict, and addressing conflict isn't bad. Avoiding conflict is where we really get into trouble. And so how to address the conflict within yourself so you don't go to jail or catch a case, you know, is really the key. Because it's not about conflict with me, or conflict with your brother, or conflict with your sister. It's really about conflicting the material beliefs that no longer serve you, or ultimately understanding your lower nature. So we'll deal with that today. Today is Wednesday. Today is ruled by Mercury, and there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to getting your money together and planets. people, the normal conversation towards money is Jupiter. But if you look up the etymology to understanding of merchandise or getting any type of financials for yourself, you tie it into Mercury. Mercury is actually an Etruscan deity that kind of that symbolizes the idea of commerce, the idea of trade. And the idea of commerce and the idea of trade is not, you know, winning the lottery. It's not a windfall of money, you know, a benefactor and things of that nature. But what it is a deeper understanding of your energy and what you're good at and expanding on that daily. It should be very simple when manifesting money. You should have something that you do daily that brings money in, that people like you for, or people enjoy. You know, you should provide a service or a good or a product that people like and give it to them daily. Sell it to multiple people for the rest of your life so your family can eat. Very simple. So today, let's try not to make this thing complicated. Let's just go through these notes and let's try to see what the celestials are pointing us to. So I want everybody to understand that when we discuss astrology, we're not discussing Kyrie's message, what Kyrie feels, what Kyrie thinks. Therefore, because if we was to have that conversation, I would just be offending you all damn day. You would be offending me all damn day. So we find a common ground, something that we all can identify, the celestial beings in the celestial sphere. We could all come to a astrological understanding, an astronomical understanding, and really have a unionized common understanding of what's being said. That's why we focus on Sabian symbols, and that's why we focus on sidereal astrology. So therefore, there is no argument. This is well documented. You can look this up. You can take my notes, or you could not take my notes. You can look this shit up on yourself and find your own understanding. But ultimately, we find something that we all can identify with, and then we have a conversation. This is much different from a person having a personal opinion, being on YouTube and talking. Conjecture. Things of that nature. So, just want to point out what we're going to be talking today. We're going to be talking about one aspect in particular and taking it point for point, and then dealing with the aspect and then tying it into the card of the day. We'll have some supporting quotes, and we'll just try to understand the energy for the day, and hopefully this will help us apply it and understand it moving forward. We're talking about Mercury at the 24th degree mark of Aquarius or sidereal Capricorn, and Mars in the 24-degree mark in Aries or sidereal Pisces, and these energies are sextile. Okay? Sextile simply meaning effort, meaning that if we need to walk to the store, it'll be an easy walk for us to get to the store. But we still got to walk to the store. We can't just want to walk to the store. We got to actually put in the effort to walk to the store. But 10 times out of 10, every time I wanted to walk to the store thus far in my life, I fucking made it. Thus far. You know what I'm saying? Knock on wood. But it's just simple shit. So if we can understand these energies and understanding how to easily take that walk, we can understand it. And this is very important because the idea that we're working with is fortune. And fortune is good fortune. Fortune is bad fortune. Fortune is what it is. But how we actually get to that point is, you know, a beautiful story. So let's just bring the astrology into it, the Sabian symbols in here, and we're just going to talk about this point for point. So the actual symbol is, or the actual understanding is to master your lower nature. And this was something that I was struggling, not even struggling with, but this was something that I was engaging with yesterday, for the very reason that I had shit to do. And so I was I wasn't listening to shit, rather. I was hearing the word Khadijah. I was thinking about Khadijah. And then when I got to work, when people were calling me, the girls that was calling me was from Georgia, and their name was Khadijah, like 3 women. So I was like, okay, this is super weird. So I hopped on YouTube, and the first thing I typed was Khadijah, and I just started listening to, she had a video, Khadijah Samadi, she had a video on Black Magic 363, and I listened to a little bit of it because I was busy, but what I heard, it really helped me because she spoke on fasting. And up to that point, I hadn't eaten. So I decided, you know what, fuck it. I'm not even gonna eat today. I'm gonna just drink water, and that's what it's gonna be. Because I felt like, and then ultimately, which was good, because when it came to the Patreon readings, I had about like 20 readings that I needed to do. And I needed to be clear for those readings. And I had to study for this astrology for this morning, and I needed to be clear for that. And I'm thankful that I made that decision, because I know how I can get when a nigga want to eat. I get real sleepy and real lazy, and I just don't care. And, you know, I cut on the, you know what I'm saying? I'll just cut on the TV and watch Netflix or something to that, like, you know, chill out, eat, enjoy my life. But I think it really spoke to understanding the energy, and that's why I think that astrology is so powerful, because it's applicable, and whether unconsciously or consciously. So if unconsciously you're fasting, maybe you're fasting because you need to master your lower nature or withholding from sex. Like, I went through a whole period with my wife that I was very, what's the word, babe? Loose. Yeah, my lower self was, give me 1 second. So it was like, I was very loose and very, like, I don't know, I was just letting it rip. You know what I'm saying? My lower self kind of took over for a moment, and I kind of reflect on the Venus retrograde and what I was processing. But man, yesterday, not to say that I was completely fucking up, but I felt like in subtle ways I was allowing my ego and my arrogance and my lower nature to take hold, and it was creating little blocks, little subtle emotional shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, very much of not who, like, so I got real life goals and shit. I be really trying to go places and do shit. So it's like, if I'm not really practicing tantra with my wife like every night, like that shit is a no-go. You know what I'm saying? If I'm dealing with people and they're vamping on my energy, that shit is a no-go. Really tapping into my higher self and really withdrawing from the things that are quote-unquote pleasurable really brought some deep insight into, I was able to complete my Patreon readings. I was able to complete this reading, and then I was able to have, you know, a profound meditation where I got some even more insight. Like, some real crazy shit was happening, but it was extremely lucid, and it was like, you know, somebody talking to you. So the key here, the 24th degree mark of Aquarius, and we're dealing with Mercury, so we dealing with our money. Let's not confuse it, because you know what? I've been studying astrology for a long time. That's not a lie, okay? And what else is not a lie is that I did not understand Mercury for a large percentage of my studying. What does Mercury mean? It's so abstract and so vague that you cannot come to a common consensus until you deal with the etymology of the word. Then it's undeniable what Mercury represents. So if you're a Google scholar and you're gonna say, no, Mercury doesn't mean that, then you can say that. But if you study the etymology, then it's undeniable. Mercury means money, period. And so mastering your lower nature is very much of not even money in the 2019 aspect, because we got to digress a little bit. Mercury is commerce and trade, meaning I have a good, I have a service, and you'll pay me for it. That's nature. Money and how we was raised up on mamas, I was raised up on Ed McMahon, bruh. Like, and I seen them commercials, bruh, and I just knew that nigga was gonna come knock on my door. He was gonna knock on my door. I was gonna get the big check. I was gonna take the picture. I was gonna leave school in a goddamn Benz. My mama was gonna pick me up. We was gonna go to an island and sip goddamn Virgin. I was gonna sip Virgin, whatever, and she was gonna sip Mai Tais, and we was just gonna be straight, cause we was good people. My mom was a good person. She worked every day. I was a good person. I got good grades. Oh, Ed McMahon is coming to my house sooner or fucking later. Okay? I don't care. But that's not a reality. If I knew better, I would have disciplined myself to focus on self-mastery, self-control, mastering your lower self, because we want to get to the bag. We want to have real satisfaction in life. And it's all about understanding what you actually can do with your life, and not what can happen to you, what can happen for you, who can do something great for you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, what if you're that person? Then how do you act? Like, how do you carry yourself? Boom. How do you carry yourself? If you look up the etymology of fortune, you'll get the root word to carry. And then they say wealth is just an opinion that wealthy people have towards themselves. And all of this connects to me because how you carry yourself, how you see yourself, how you view yourself means more than anything. To carry. Fortune. Just remember that. If you like etymology, look up fortune. And they don't understand how carry and fortune connects if you look up the etymology, but you got to really think about it esoterically and understanding that wealth comes from the inside. If you can't develop shit, if you can't bring shit to the table, then you're waiting for somebody to hand you a bag. And that's very different from trying to get a bag. And another Sabian symbol point is disciple, and disciple leads into discipline, and discipline is instruction given, teaching, learning, and knowledge, but it's not from a nigga on YouTube. You're not my disciples. Let's be clear about that shit. We watching a video on YouTube, we might be taking notes, or we might be driving to work. It just is what it is. Once, you know, the baby start crying, it's time to cut the video off. It ain't that big of a deal. But when you talk about discipleship, what we just got finished discussing was the lower self. So obviously, discipleship is understanding your higher self and incorporating your higher self and really bossing up, taking control of your own life. And it's nothing bad with wanting to help people and understanding that what people are struggling with isn't the fact that shit isn't happening for them. The problem with people is that they not making shit happen. They refuse to make shit happen. They literally, like, when it comes to discipleship and leading people in their footsteps, it's like, I want my children to sit on the couch and sit on their phone all day. That don't read, bro. That don't read, sis. You can't, you gotta stop that shit. You have impulses to do greater shit, and everything is weighing you down on fucking purpose. Because it's about you, it's about your personal safety, happiness, joy, and you can't even, like at a certain point, this conversation, it fucking breaks a stick. There is no wiggle room. There is no, oh, I kind of listen to what you're saying. It's like, no, I got to cut this shit off because this ain't for me. I don't want to listen to this because this person is talking about, you know, being one with your society and helping each other and, you know, evolving, not for the sake of, look at me, I'm evolving, but evolving with the idea of helping people who've been in fucked up situations like myself. And so if I relate to pain or if I feel pain, that's just another person feeling that pain that maybe I left the auric field. Like, you know how many people walk into your black holes? Cause you was sad one day and you left but you don't even realize your power or your energy. So that's why I said this conversation breaks a whole fucking stick. Like it can't, there's no wiggle room. You either a god or a human being. Human beings can't really understand and speak. Gods be like, okay, I'm in full control of my reality, past, present, and future. I'm here on multiple lifetimes. This might be my 178,000th lifetime. And all of this makes perfect sense to me. But then a human being is like, yo, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? I'm about to be in my own space and sit on my goddamn phone and watch these goddamn YouTube videos. And so that's what I mean. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put childish things away. Understand that that's a metaphor for, you know, accepting your higher self and living through your higher self, or living through your ego and living through your humanity. When you a little human being, you 8.8 billionth little human being, you completely insignificant. When you tap into your higher self, you find a common goal. You realize that it's about connecting with people and really having that strong vibration. Man, you don't gotta actually even do anything sometimes, but you gotta just understand or just trust yourself to be in the right place at the right time, and then accepting that space that you've created for yourself because you've made the commitment to follow your higher self. Very different from following your ego and your humanity and being in fucked up situations and you like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. No. Once you follow your higher self, you kind of present an interesting dichotomy for yourself, whether it be comfortable or uncomfortable. You like, well, higher self, I was following you, my guy. Like, you were leading me here, so it don't feel too good. And then the higher self is generally like, well, give it time, you know, work with it, grow with it. And so this is all about discipleship, but this is all about discipline too, because you'll never get to this place if you don't master your lower nature. And it's not just about sex, it's about the food, it's about whatever you find pleasure in that's blocking you from this higher awareness. A lot of people is addicted to vacations, clothes, you know, all types of things. And none of these things are bad within moderation. But when it comes out of, like, you got to eat, right? Like, at some point, but sometimes you don't have to eat, you know. Sometimes you just don't fucking have to eat. It's just like, you want to have sex, but sometimes you don't have to. You want to ejaculate, fellas, but sometimes you just don't have to. Sometimes you don't have to ejaculate. Maybe you could go a week, a month. Trust me, you go a month not ejaculating with your girl, she's gonna look at you completely different, no matter what. Right, John? John, you taught me that, didn't you? Yeah, you did. You did, John. You taught me that. So, John is a trip. Mars in 24th degree mark of Aries or sidereal Pisces. The greater the battle, the greater the spoils. And so the Sabian symbol here, real quick, is being blown in. Oh, now you're trying to take over the live. That's what it is? One day, John, one day. But you gonna have to fall back for a second, because you right now doing the most, and you never really. With them teeth, though, your teeth got you acting different. Okay, you really think you grown because you got teeth and you eating food and stuff. But chill. Okay, sorry guys. Sorry. It's a family affair at the hoodmystic.com daily energy readings. Anyways, Mars at the 24th degree mark in Aries or sidereal Pisces. The Sabian symbol is the symbol of being blown inward by the wind. And the curtains, they spin into a cornucopia. So a cornucopia is this device that the goddess Fortuna is holding. So if we want to look at this Sabian symbol again, blown inward by the wind. And wind is taken from the word pneuma, and pneuma means spirit. So blown inward by the spirit, the curtains open up a window and they take shape of a cornucopia. Okay, John, now enough is enough, brother. You're taking it too far. Gosh. So if we can imagine being fully developed and fully blown away by our spirit, it takes shape of a cornucopia, meaning that, well, for one, it's multiple levels. For two, you have to have a particular open mind. You have to be able to look different. And for three, when you really deal with the spirit, you should be dealing with some form of a benefit. It shouldn't be scathing or hurtful. The reasons why I'm into this spiritual shit and, you know, fully working with this spiritual shit is because it makes me feel better. It makes my life better. It improves me. It makes me, you know, be more at peace, be more at ease. It helps me make more sense of the world. It's not something that I'm into and it causes a lot of pain and strife. Oh, I have to work and I have to study, and it hasn't always been good, but ultimately why I keep coming back, because it always has something very deep within me that provides that feeling that this is what you should be doing. This is where you should be. And that feeling never has went away. And man, I've never been in a situation where I felt like, you know, I don't have enough, or I'm down and out. And even if I was down and out, I still managed to make it through. And all of this all rings true to cornucopia and having more than enough. And working with spirit honestly provides you with more than enough. And understanding all of this energy tied into one, because we don't want to forget that this energy is sextile Mercury. We have to remember, mastering your lower nature matters when it comes to securing the bag, unless we're talking about Ed McMahon. If Ed McMahon is still about to knock on your door, then fuck away. You know what I'm saying? Eat away. You know what I'm saying? Like, do whatever. Like, I don't care. Like, but if it's a matter of you doing some business with me, and, you know, you can't get sex off your mind, you can't get food off your mind, you can't get cocaine off your mind, then it ain't gonna work out. Because I'm not really into much besides, you know, study. Like, I'm addicted to study. Like, I'm a study head, or I don't even know the word, like a crackhead for this knowledge. Like, so Not to say that, you know, you might find people that's really into, you know, doing those drugs and y'all can make something of it, but that's just a whole nother conversation and that's a whole nother channel. So just to be clear on that, Mars at this particular degree speaks to munificence. And munificence is defined as the quality or action of being lavishly generous. It ain't about somebody being generous to you, dog. Like, y'all be tripping me out with that shit. Like, men and women, like, why somebody gotta be super nice to you? Like, can't you be super nice to somebody and not want shit in return? Like, just be generous. Like, and this ties into discipleship. Like, what would the disciple, you know, somebody trying to teach somebody some profound information, like, nigga, you gotta pay me back for this shit though. Like, come on, man, that don't read. That don't read. Like, you have to understand that you gotta be the one that's generous because you are the God, you are the blesser. You know, you are the one that, you're the provider. You more than, you like, this energy is speaking to, you know, having more than enough and really tapping into your abundance. But if you're not fully realizing that self, because if you don't master your lower nature, then you wasting your energy. So therefore you can't tap into no abundance at the end of the day. You still struggling and needing something from somebody because you ain't got shit within. So the negative aspect to, you know, this energy is to kind of cheat yourself and to think that, you know, another person's success or another person's goodwill or good thing is, you know, him cheating the system or him running away with the bag and, you know, he fucked up and I knew it was something wrong with him and I don't like that person and all of this shit. And then when it comes to what the hell is you doing? What is you doing? What is you creating? The card of the day is the Seven of Swords, and where people run away, thinking that they running away, thinking that they getting over, thinking that, you know, social media have a person really thinking that they winning. Like, bro, like, it's not about how people perceive you, or it's not about what you have or what you think you getting away with. It's about being resourceful. Like, man, being resourceful, tapping into abundance within you and really understanding all that you possibly could do through discipline. Disciple to your higher self, discipline to follow through with that shit and keep follow through with that and keep on keeping on is really a deep, profound understanding. And then combining this with the energy of Mars, understanding that if you could simply walk towards something, you'll get to the store. I ain't never met a person yet that didn't have a good ass idea. I always meet people who don't have no real intention on acting on those good ass ideas. So it's very much about being on the edge and really thinking above and beyond and thinking, you know, inward and seeing where that's going to take you. So hopefully that resonated, and, you know, the notes are here. I felt very moved by this particular aspect and, you know, really studying the Sabian symbols and all things considered, the particular decan where we've kind of been covering this Aquarius realm, and whether through tarot or whether through, you know, astrology, and really focusing on the great changes. And those great changes are the deeper spiritual sublime perspectives to life, and that to me is what I'm focused on, and that's where I'm headed, to the supply, to the nirvana, to the higher aspects. And you know, this is just more of the conversations that we're going to be having moving forward. And just how much of it shows up in the astrology, and how we can constantly talk about finding ourselves within, because if we're not mindful and we're not applicable about it daily, it's easy to forget, even for the deepest niggas on the planet. If you're not really focused and really challenging yourself constantly, then you could easily let this thing slip away, and then you'll find yourself in vicarious positions that you wish you weren't in, because you never mastered your lower self. So, how was that? I can't even see the comments today. Um, my app is tripping. How's everybody feeling this morning? Any questions? I wouldn't say controlling your lower nature. You gotta master your lower nature. You have to be on top of that shit, and you have to follow your higher self, and you have to really understand that there's a battle going on within you, and it doesn't need to be a hard fight. You have the will to say, I win, and I'm gonna follow my higher self. But you know, if you can imagine a battle, then that's what the battle's gonna be. If you can imagine a victory, then that's what's gonna be the outcome. Uh, Somebody out there thinking about some food, cause y'all got me hungry. I'm starving, bro. Fortune is one of those energies that I've really been dealing with for a long, long time. I found the sigil in an old magic book, and I be trying to find it online, and I can't find it online nowhere. It was just an old magic book that was over my cousin's house, and I seen this sigil, and I just been working with it ever since. So I just kind of take it as kind of like a personal thing. But throughout the years, she reveals herself back in many different ways, and you know, she's just making her. If fortune is new to you, she's she's been rocking with me for a while now, and so proud to kind of bring her to people's awareness. Very powerful energy. Um, Anybody wants an understanding of fortune, who doesn't understand it, just let me know. Mastering the lower chakras in a simple way would be simply root chakra. uh your energy comes from the ground, the same way that the trees grow, the same way that the grass grow, mountains, rivers, everything comes from the ground up. Your energy is the same way. Your energy don't come from your mama, your church, your job, your career, your money. First and foremost, your energy comes from the earth. So that's the root chakra. Your sacral chakra simply is your sexual organs, your reproductive organs, and they're very sacred. And they're not to be used like a goddamn remote control. Period. You ain't supposed to be, you gotta treat it with some respect. And from time to time, you know, you got to treat that thing special. And the third chakra is the family piece. And we talked about the family piece yesterday a little more. The sacral chakra is really, which what we call your solar plexus, which is actually your soul, which, you know, is parasympathetic nervous system, your gut instinct, what people would like to say, that's you. And we get talked out of that. We don't even know how to tap into that. So understanding that in a nutshell, you can master your lower self. Anything else outside of that, it's a long conversation. So all that jazz, you be on it though. You be knowing about the chakras and things of that nature. But if you really into the chakras and you really balance and activate your lower three chakras, you are mastering your lower self. But in real time, stop eating all the time, stop fucking all the time, stop drinking all the time, stop, indulging all the time, especially when you want a spiritual experience. If you want to have a sublime spiritual experience, I know that psychedelics is one thing, but sometimes you don't got no money. Sometimes you don't got no psychedelics. A good way to get into those higher realms is to just simply withdraw from food. Just drink water for a day, and then meditate. That shit would be profound. Nah, the lower energies is not the shadow self. The shadow self is something completely different. Lower energies, the shadow self is more the sublime black dark energies where we can create and manifest. Lower energies are just kind of maybe how you got to a certain point, or what, okay, whatever. So you could say that drinking could be a form of the shadow, and it shows you like the spirits, or you can have a ritual, but it's still a lower energy, meaning that if you sustain drinking, then it's not a spiritual experience no longer. You a goddamn alcoholic. Like, but if you want to drink and, or if you want to smoke and induce a spiritual thing, then that's one thing. But, when provoking the shadow, you don't necessarily need drugs all the time. You just need to simply have a clarity and a sense of mind. And I'm not like saying one thing is bad. I'm just saying when it comes to spirituality, purity is way more profound than taking a drug. Because if I take a drug to get a spiritual experience and that spiritual experience is profound, then are you sure that you had a spiritual experience, or did you take a drug? You never really know. So it's very important, and I'm not a saint. So I say that out of me talking to myself. You understand what I'm saying? And me trying to get to the sublime, I feel personally is not through drug use, or it's not through tapping into lower energies because they feel good, and I feel like that's spiritual because it feels good. No, it just fucking feels good, and what feels good could ultimately be a goddamn block. And this is something that I realized listening to Khadijah yesterday. So shout out to Khadijah. Explain what? Yeah. Certain things can be synonymous. So in this life, you got to really understand that when we want to deal with the sublime and spirituality, you got to think of ideas that could be sustained. And so Tantra allows us to enter into a world of physicality that can be sustained. So, what happens when you ejaculate as a man is that that energy is no longer sustained. I'm no longer horny. I no longer want to, do what I'm doing. I want to go to sleep, or I want to eat a sandwich. Tantra, you don't never want to eat or eat a sandwich. Like, I'm probably still making love to my wife, tantrically speaking, based upon our last session. And in that space, energetically, I'm blissful and at peace, so I don't necessarily need to eat. So the foundations, mind you, pleasure is not bad, but pleasure with the right mindset and the right understanding, and then the right practice behind it. The practice being not to ejaculate, not to release semen, to control it, and then but to indulge fully and feel those vibrations and feel those sensations and experience the beauty of lovemaking, but never finish. See, this can be sustained, and breathing can be sustained. Your heart beating can be sustained. And these are the things that we want to tap into, the sublime realities that can be sustained. If you want something to happen to you, 10 times out of 10, it can't be sustained. If you want to have sex with a person, that situation can never be sustained. It's going to be 20 minutes, 2 hours, however long, 2 minutes, however long the session is. That's sex. If you want money to come, like, that money's going to come. It got to keep coming, though. Like, you got to figure out a way to keep it coming, because like any idiot can have money come to them in a large lump sum, but a real advanced being will understand how to keep that thing coming and have it coming in multiple different ways, and learn how to partner up, learn how to have different organizations and different partnerships that fuel and fortify everything that he's initially trying to do. All of this ties into Mercury, and Mercury is a powerful spirit and a powerful energy, but we got to understand it at its Etruscan, at its most primordial root, and that's the energy of Merx, M-E-R-X, and that is the Lord of Commerce, the creator of commerce. And so just dealing with this energy and conversating with my wife, we just, having profound and monumental conversations, and really working forward and towards like creating a better life for ourselves and our family. And that's what I'm about to do right now, is just kind of improve on my home life and do some things personally, and just try to have a positive aspect or a positive outlook based upon I'm gonna really work on bettering myself, and not worry about satisfying my lower nature. And so to me, that's freedom. Freedom to be happy, freedom to move forward, freedom to know that I can accomplish my dreams because my lower self isn't in the way. And so this is how this energy read to me, especially within the day. Who knows, tomorrow it might be Freaky Friday, so we're just observing and corresponding with the energy. But thank you guys for joining me. See you guys later. Peace.